Okay, welcome back to the channel. Hello, this is GamingSyndicate here once again. Thanks for clicking on the video. Thanks for joining the stream. I am live again today. I have 3 videos I want to react to today, maybe 4 if I can get enough time. The first is a video from Morning Shot talking about how vile the ANC is, which is the South African government. The second is a video about the Swarm, which is Neurosummer's fans, by Rethinking Influence. And then the third and possibly fourth is a video by the AI D&D campaign guy, the AI guy. But the more important video for me is the ANC, the video by Morning Shot. I don't see many people talking about the actual South African government. Obviously, most of the people that I watch is from America and some other places. So it's not really all that... no one really talks about the South African government unless they're doing something that affects another country. But there's a lot that and because of that, there's a lot that people don't know. I have already watched this video, but I feel like I should bring it to everyone's attention and have other people actually see what is going on, because this is actually very important. There's a lot of people that don't know the stupid and fucking hypocritical shit that the South African government is actually doing. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the video. Well, one last thing, if anyone has the ability to contact Nux, Taku, Asmongold, all these big creators that react to videos online that have a big audience, please suggest that they check this video out. This is a very important video for, I feel, the public to see. There's a lot of South African people that watch those guys as well that probably have never seen this video as well, because again, we, for the most part, stuff that people watch, they don't watch South African. So there's probably a lot of South Africans that also don't know about the actual shit that the ANC is doing, at least when it comes to who they support. So if you can get this specific video, obviously not mine, out to Asmongold and all these other big YouTubers, please do. I will also try and get it out to him, but one person is probably not going to be enough to actually get their attention on this topic. But without further ado, let's get into the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, this video is actually late today because
I'm also going to try and pause as little as possible because I want this video to be fluent for the people watching. Unfortunately, I do have to obviously pause from time to time and give commentary, because that's sort of how copyright works. You have to change and give your own opinion on things so that it's not just me re-uploading their video. But let's carry on.
Because I really had to kind of collect my thoughts on this. I thought to myself, you know, if I actually just create the video as I feel, I'm going to get into trouble, because to be honest, the actual story itself shows just how corrupt and vile and disgusting our government is. Specifically, if you think about it, this is the same...
Yep, obviously this guy is also South African.
...government that parrots the crimes of apartheid over and over again. We're told frequently about things like the Sharpeville massacre, where 69 people died. Oh, yep, 69. And we're frequently told about all the historical injustices in South Africa, to the point where South Africa repeats historical injustices today to correct the injustices of the past. Now you have to ask yourself a question as to, if South Africa is so principled, why is it that they frequently allow injustices to occur abroad while simultaneously condemning the injustices in another foreign land called Israel? The two-facedness and the disgusting nature of the ANC government is just, yeah, for everybody to see in this very topic. And before I get on to the main video of today, can I yet again remind you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It really takes a lot out of me to make...
Yeah. Check this guy out, Morning Shot. Morning Shot. He's been making videos for a while. He's got 150k subscribers, so he isn't small, but he does do a lot of work for his videos. I've seen a bunch of his videos. I've been keeping track of his channel, because again, he does show a lot when it comes to the South African politics side of the world.
These videos, I mean, this specific story just, well, to be honest, just revolted me, because the ANC government is revolting. So what is it that revolted me so much? Well, it's the UN Human Rights Council, the 39th session, which occurred on the 23rd of June 2026. Now, the Human Rights Council held a special session on the deteriorating human rights situation in Iran. Now, the session focused on Iran's violent suppression of nationwide protests that began on the 28th of December 2025. Now, it's important for you to understand that the reason for this uprising was actually the deteriorating state of Iran's economy. It's nothing more than that. People were fed up of the Ayatollah's regime and the way that it was repressing the country to the economic detriment of the average individual.
Yeah, because the Iranian government are basically dictators that, more specifically, they're religious extremists and dictators that basically dictate what certain people are allowed to wear and what religion everyone has to follow.
That's why they rioted, no other reason. Now, an Iranian human rights lawyer actually had the
So it is more than economy, but obviously the economy is also very bad there.
following to say about the brutal suppression of the nation. Have a look.
The number increases each day because the killings haven't stopped. We may not know the exact number because of the internet blackout, but by any plausible estimate, this is the worst mass murder in the contemporary history of Iran. Our beautiful country has become a cemetery in which the hopes of our youth are buried. I began my career as a UN human rights officer here in Geneva in 1993 during the war in the former Yugoslavia. I went on to serve as a prosecutor at the International Criminal Tribunal in The Hague. I helped draft the indictment for the Srebrenica genocide, in which some 8,000 Bosnian Muslims were massacred during July of 1995. By comparison, at least twice that number has been killed in Iran in half the time. This is an extermination. And unlike Bosnia, there is no war between military forces. There is only a war by the Islamic Republic against unarmed youth crying for a better future.
Now, a UN Watch address also occurred on the deteriorating situation in Iran. You can see that here.
Thank you very much. I now recognize United Nations Watch.
Mr. President, doctors in Iran estimate 20,000 protesters killed and 330,000 injured. These are numbers that defy comprehension. These are crimes against humanity. So today's session is welcome, but let's be honest, it is too little and too late. The Iranian people have a right to know why for over 3 weeks did this council say nothing. We asked the 87 UN rights experts, the world's early warning mechanism, for over 2 weeks, why were you silent?
Yeah. People won't shut up about, oh, Gaza this, Gaza that. They won't shut up about any of that. They won't shut up about ICE detaining or killing innocent people that are breaking the law, that are attempting to stop ICE agents from doing their job. But Iran kills who knows how many people. Innocent civilians, innocent journalists and all this. No one says anything because that's fine by everyone's fucking standards. Even South Africa doesn't say shit about that.
Only on January 13th was there a statement, and out of 87 experts, only 5 of you signed it. Day after day, we pleaded for action. 5 days into the repression, after killings of protesters, I asked Agnes Callamard, the former UN rapporteur who now heads Amnesty International, why are you silent? In January 2020, when the US eliminated IRGC terror chief Qasem Soleimani, she rushed within hours to condemn it. Why no urgency when innocent Iranian protesters are massacred? And beyond this room, we ask the media, Hollywood celebrities, campus protesters, those who know how to mobilize world opinion, why are you silent? The answer is uncomfortable but clear. The Iran protest movement shatters a cherished narrative. A people rising against Islamist tyranny does not fit the ideology, and so it is ignored. To all of you, we say the cost of your silence was Iranian lives. It is time to choose. Do everything to protect the people of Iran or your failed worldview. History is watching.
Yeah, and I hope that in the future this is brought up multiple times, because these governments and these people that are just not talking about the chaos and the shit that's happening in Iran regarding the Islamic run fucking government that is suppressing and killing innocent people. This needs to be talked about more. The governments that are not talking about it and supporting this need to be fucking held to a lot. They need to be held to the fucking fire. They need to fucking answer for this.
So the idea behind this special session was that a draft resolution called for an urgent investigation into the abuses. Now, it's very difficult to find out what's actually going in Iran because the internet's been shut down. We have to all remember that. But
yeah, internet shut down. Yes, Elon Musk did give them Starlink for free, basically. But obviously not everyone is going to have access to it, because there's obviously a lot of old people that don't know how Starlink or the internet works, for that matter. They don't know how technology works, so they're not going to be jumping onto Starlink because not everyone can.
But they've called for an extension of the independent international fact-finding mission on Iran for a further 2 years so they can kind of see what's going on. Now, the reason for this is so that they can get a better understanding as to what the nature of the crackdown and how many individuals have been killed in the suppression of these protests, because it's going to get buried. In fact, news is that Iran has now criminalized talking about the massacres. Yes, it is now a criminal offense in Iran to talk.
Yeah, now they by law they can basically just arrest protesters. They can technically they still can't kill them, but they're allowed to by law just take people off the streets because of what they're saying. You constantly hear in America about what's happening in America with protesters being attacked and shot and detained by ICE officers and all this stupid shit. There are 100% definitely fucking not committing any crimes or breaking any laws by interfering with fucking federal investigations or interfering with deporting illegal aliens or illegal immigrants. They are definitely not interfering with people. You hear all of that, but then you also hear that what's happening in Iran, oh no, these are domestic terrorists. These are evil people that we can kill and imprison because they're speaking the fucking voice. They're fighting against the government. They are actually protesting the government and being arrested and killed for it because they don't support the evil regime that is currently oppressing them.
About the massacres that have occurred. Now, the UN Human Rights Council took a vote, and of that, 25 countries said yes.
Yep.
14 countries abstained, and 7 countries said no. Now, the countries that said no included China and Russia. Not really a
Yeah, of course, because they back Iran.
surprise, right? But the abstainees included Brazil, Egypt, Qatar, Thailand, Ethiopia, and South Africa.
Yeah, because they don't want to talk about what's going on there because it defeats the narrative.
Now, there were other countries, but who cares? Now, what is it that the actual resolution was condemning? What is it that the South African government abstained on? Well, the resolution condemned the violent repression of peaceful protests and the mass killing of protesters. Now, we are assured that these suppression of protests and the killing of protesters are the things that caused for the ANC to launch the People's War in order to fight the apartheid government. But the resolution goes further. It says that the arbitrary arrests and detentions are condemned and that enforced disappearances are also condemned. both of these are things that the ANC government accuses the apartheid government of doing. Now, there has also been suggestions of cruel and inhumane treatment, degrading treatment, and torture of individuals, and the resolution condemned that. Sexual and gender-based violence also condemned, and the use of live ammunition, including against civilians, was condemned. Now, the news came out that the Ayatollah had authorized the Iranian Revolutionary Guard to use live ammunition against protesters and I quote, shoot to kill.
That's fucking evil.
Now, finally, the resolution condemned the targeting of journalists, students, women, and minorities. Now, remember, we are frequently told by the ANC government that the targeting of Gaza journalists is a huge crime against humanity, but apparently it's not when you do it in Iran. Now, the statements by the UN High Commissioner on Human Rights said that Iran's violent repression deepened instability in Iran and fuels further human rights violations that will occur in the future. And this comes after the Ayatollah says that he will go around and find everybody who participated and, well, he'll kill them, basically.
Yep.
And they raised concerns about the conflicting Iranian statements on execution of detainees. Now, this came after Donald Trump supposedly had got an agreement that they wouldn't kill protesters, and the Ayatollah said, that's not what I agreed, and I will be killing them. Now, protesters are being labeled as terrorists and foreign agents. Yeah,
Yeah. That makes it okay, right?
the way I've heard that foreign agents phrase before. Hey, Julius. And enemies of the state. So let's go to South Africa's abstination. Well, South Africa did not support the resolution. South Africa said that it supports the right of peaceful protest and is disturbed by violence, death, and destruction of property. And South Africa called for maximum restraint by Iranian authorities and that there should be accountability for all perpetrators without naming the regime specifically. Remember, that's the regime who are killing people. And then they claimed that there were external actors allegedly interfering in Iran to destabilize the country. Well, this is specifically a reference to, well, the United States and Israel. So apparently, yes, Cyril is firmly in the camp of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard to the point where he's actually regurgitating their propaganda. Now, the ANC suggested that they supported an independent inquiry that would examine abuses by all. So, yeah, apparently the protesters are also, in the wrong, and not just by the Iranian state. So that's the ANC's way of actually condemning the protesters. Yeah, see how this is going.
Yeah, no.
And they argued that the resolution did not sufficiently account for UN Charter principles on sovereignty and non-interference. Yes, okay, so when Israel does stuff in Palestine or in Gaza, they feel the need to take them to the ICJ and to interfere in their sovereignty and to interfere in their country, but they won't do it to one of their allies. This is double standards of the highest order.
No, the hypocrisy is ridiculous, and it's fucking evil.
Now, South Africa objected to the 2-year extension to the fact-finding mission and cited a prior UN HRC rule that stated the country mandate should be 1 year only. South Africa is just not the good guy here. They are not in the right sound mind. Now, the problem is that everybody sees this for what it is. There is growing scrutiny on South Africa's relationship with Iran, and this comes after the recent Iranian naval participation in exercises near South Africa. Now, you can...
Oh, yes. South African has had their military train with Russia, with China, and with Iran multiple times. They've helped Russia when it comes to weaponry. This is confirmed. They have done this. They fully support China because China owns this country at this point, basically. And yeah, they're very happy with the Iranian regime.
Know about that if you've watched Morning Shot. So South Africa abstained, and this is now drawing criticism for the government, basically for failing to support an investigation into mass civilian deaths. Remember that the government went around the world condemning the civilian deaths that occurred in South Africa at the hands of the apartheid government, but they don't seem to have the same level of, shall we say, moral standing when it comes through to their allies. But they frequently want to talk about the deaths that are occurring in Gaza, whilst ignoring the deaths at the hands of their funders. This is revolting. The South African government is revolting. So let's actually talk about the death tolls and what exactly the South African government says Nothing to do with us.
Yeah, obviously we don't have all the numbers. With the internet blackouts in Iran, there's a lot we don't know of what's actually happening there. For the most part, we don't know how many people have actually been killed. It's probably 10 times more than what we have as numbers. We don't see what happens day to day there, other than the small amount of people that do have Starlink up and running. But again, like not everyone actually is going to be able to do that.
Remember that everything else has to do with them, but apparently when it comes through to Iran, they don't care. The Daily Mail reported that according to Iranian medical and academic sources, that an estimated 33,000 plus protesters have been killed. Now, this is a revision upwards from the previous estimates of 16.5 to 18,000 individuals. And apparently around 97,000 have been wounded. Approximately 30% of injuries involved are damage from security forces,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's triple that number or double that number.
with hundreds reportedly executed following arrest. Now, LBC also reported around allegations of protesters being executed in hospital beds. This is now being raised by the actual hospital authorities themselves, who report that gunshot wounds to the heads at close range are occurring in hospitals. They're coming back to these rooms, they're finding victims in hospital gowns, and they're dead. They've been shot at close range in the head. And there are even claims that some injured protesters who are fleeing hospitals have still been hunted down after fleeing the hospitals and been executed. Now, an Iranian human rights activist cited to LBC that 30,000 plus deaths have been confirmed through hospital and medical networks alone, with a revised
Fucking hell.
wounded up to 350,000 wounded, with 12,000 blinded, with some estimates suggesting that the death toll could be as high as 40 to 80,000 individuals. This far exceeds the massacres that are occurring in Gaza, supposedly. And remember, we're told that that's a genocide.
Yeah, and also let's also remember that the Hamas started that when they decided to go over and do the same and start killing in Israel. The war they started caused all the problems, and they're killing their own people. The amount of people that's died in Gaza is because of Hamas, not because of Israel.
But apparently a genocide by the Iranian government on its own people, its own protesters, well, that's just fine. Now,
And by that logic, it's because of Iran, because Iran supports Hamas and they fund Hamas.
other groups have suggested that there have been up to 20,000 arrests, maybe more, with many detainees awaiting possible.
Obviously, I mean the Iranian government, not the people. People are the innocent ones here. They're the people that are dying to the Iranian government. So Iran is killing their own people abroad.
Execution, with allegations of secret trials and extrajudicial executions occurring everywhere, because it's all kangaroo court stuff now. The Ayatollah has been very clear that they can just go around and execute all of these terrorists, and that's exactly what some areas are doing. And I've seen
Iran talking about fucking terrorists. That is fucking comical right there.
numerous videos, which I can't even put on YouTube because my channel will get taken down.
Yeah, no, the shit that I've seen come out of Iran is fucking atrocious. And yeah, no, if that shit gets put onto Twitch or YouTube, the channel will not be there for long.
Of individuals just driving up to protesters and lobbing their heads off. I've got the videos. There's tons of them. But, as you know, Iran suppressed the internet.
If you want to see that, I don't recommend it. They're fucking horrid. But if you really want to see them, go onto X. You can find them.
And now that there is some connectivity coming down, they've made it a criminal offense for you to tell the rest of the world around the crimes that occurred in Iran.
Yeah.
This isn't the good guys, South Africa. Now,
Yeah, ANC. These are fucking evil people that you should not be supporting. Just like how you support the EFF and the fact that they are still fucking around. They are still there fucking singing Kill the Boer. They are not the good guys. And Julius Malema should be in fucking prison. Not out there fucking singing how he wants to kill fucking white people.
commentators have noted the absence of large-scale international protest movements focusing in Iran. There's a lack of widespread campus protests and consumer boycott. Apparently, when it comes to the Iranian abuses, crickets.
Yep.
Now, the claims that Iran's crackdown has received significantly less global activism and media attention than any other countries, I don't know, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, well, to be frank, factual. And with the ANC government abstaining on just an investigation and saying, please don't kill protesters and innocent individuals, because they have their own sovereignty and procedures, and external interference on their country should be avoided. It's just vile. Because the ANC wanted the rest of the world to interfere in South Africa during the apartheid regime, the ANC has interfered with Israel and their conflict with the Palestinians, Gaza specifically. And here they are, with their handlers, saying, nah, we won't condemn them. It's disgusting. The ANC government is just disgusting.
Fuck is this image? Fucking AI. I love AI, but yo.
They can sit there and champion human rights all they want. Nothing to do with human rights. These are just terrorist enablers. The ANC are terrorist enablers. They are just vile. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Am I over-exaggerating? Am I being a little...
Yeah. But thanks, guys. Thanks for checking that out. For the people on YouTube, thanks for watching the video. Thanks for checking it out. Thanks for hitting a like on this video. Thanks for subscribing. But no, 100% check out Morning Shot. Give him a subscribe, give him a like, and share this video out, because more people need to see this. More people need to see what the South African government is fucking doing, who they're supporting, and how they're going about everything. No one talks about South Africa because we're fucking South Africa. No one cares about this fucking shithole. But it's important. It's important to know what's going on around the world, whether it's America, the UK, or even South Africa. But thanks, guys, for watching. See you in the next video, and I'm going to move on to my other reactions. Goodbye.